Good evening. My name is Donna Marino. I'm Vice President of the Keese School. I'd like to take this moment to invite you to silence your cell phones as we get this evening's program underway. Before Spence introduces you to this fine group of young adults, I would like to tell you a few words about another fine group that we're familiar with. Each year, the Keese School presents education awards to outstanding dining room associates who are enrolled in pre-secondary programs. Recipients are nominated by their managers and chosen through an interview process. These young men and women work hard to serve us on campus. The awards are funded by the Keese School budget and by tax-deductible gifts from you, Asbury residents. The donation campaign ends on April 11. The awards will be presented at a celebration on May 8. Please consider donating to this worthy program if you have not had a chance yet to do so. There are envelopes here and envelopes around campus. And now Spence will take over the program.
Thank you, Donna. Jesse, could you dim the lights and start the slideshow? All right, it's like movie theater, huh? Okay. Thank you all for coming this evening. My name is Spence Limbacher. I'm the chair of the Gaithersburg Beloved Community Initiative, and this is a special program that we put together here. Many of you may know that GBCI will be celebrating its 15th anniversary this coming January. And for part of that, we're doing a number of different programs to reflect on those years. And on how people have been impacted, how many students in the community and adults in the community, hundreds of them have been impacted by our work. But even more important is how many residents here at Asbury have been impacted by the work that we've done over the last 15 years. Our major programs are our mentoring programs, English Conversations, Early Steps, and our neighborhood action work and our food delivery work that Frank does. And there are literally 157 people regularly who volunteer, and what we'll have today are just examples of a few. As important as the number of community residents who benefited from our work, as I said before, hundreds of Asbury residents have participated and benefited from the work that we've done over the last 15 years, and we'll hear from a few of them this evening. We have learned from our Asbury resident volunteers how our work has impacted their lives. They have told us many times that they have had less loneliness in their lives because of being part of one of our programs and being engaged with people outside the community. They've made a lot of new friends and have learned a lot about other people. They have better health outcomes, and most importantly, have had an opportunity to make a difference in this world, which I think is really important. Tonight, I will introduce several GBCI volunteers, students, and a community member who was impacted in our work, and they will share what the impact was and what their experience was. In these difficult times in our country, I'm sometimes asked, how can we respond to the ugliness and hatred that we hear on TV and in our political dialogue all the time? And I know it's difficult, and we always try to figure out how do we respond and what can we do. I always respond by saying, I think you need to work locally. You need to be involved with people in your own community. You need to participate with them and make a difference in your own community here. That's something you can do here all the time, and the work that we do, I think, is important around that. The compassion and sharing our talents and skills can really make a difference, and we're going to hear some of that tonight. Now, we have slides up here. They're a little disjointed. Gary Clark did them. I apologize for him because we had to stretch them out a little bit because we We couldn't get everybody on the stage and have the screen all the way down, so I apologize for that. Don't think you have to see the slides the first time around. They will come back over and over and over again, so you'll have a lot of opportunity to look at the slides. I first want to introduce Carol Tyson. I'm sorry, that was my name, isn't it? That's what happens when you have notes. Carol, you don't live at Asbury. You live outside in the community. Could you give us a little bit about what got you involved with GBCI and some of your background and interest in being part of the mentoring program?
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all here tonight. So my name is Carol Tyson. I spent a large part of my life in northern New Jersey, where I raised my 3 children and taught second grade, mostly in special ed, in Madison, New Jersey. In 2010, after some life changes, I moved down to Maryland and ended up eventually in Gaithersburg, where I started going to Grace United Methodist Church, right down the street. And our pastor at the time, Jim Miller, spoke often about GBCI and the monthly meetings and what a wonderful organization it was. So being new in the area, I decided I would go over and meet the executive director. At the time, it was Michelle Bolotovic, and see if there was a little something, just a little something I could do to get involved. Little did I know that years later, I'd still be mentoring and be on the board and just loving every minute of it. But I started about 2 months, maybe not even 1 month before the pandemic hit. And I was in a classroom at Gaithersburg Elementary School, Miss Durr's classroom. And David and Carmen were part of that group that year, and I met them quickly, and then the pandemic happened, and everything shut down. And I had become kind of friendly with Miss Corrine, who was really overseeing the program at that time. And we decided that we would take the mentoring program outside. And so we met in a playground back behind the middle school and invited all the students who were part of the program at the time, but also their siblings, and that's how Yesley got involved. And we probably had from week to week between 10 and, 15, 17 kids of all ages who were with us outside. We stayed 6 feet apart, we wore our masks, we handed them a snack and said, go over there and eat your snack by yourself, kind of thing. And we played games and did art, and it's where our Miss Carol's Corner, which became part of our mentoring program, started, because we realized that these kids who were used to being in school all day around their friends and their teachers and lots of people were now at home by themselves in front of a computer. And to have the opportunity to come and see us for 1 hour a week was major, major in their lives and in our lives as well. And so we started something we called Miss Carol's Corner, which gave them the opportunity, if they wanted, to sit over at a picnic table with me and just chit-chat. How's your day going? Anything you want to chat about? Do you have any problems? What are you watching on TV? How's your homework going? So through that kind of difficult time, good things happened. Pandemic ended, we all went back to school, and I have since become involved in a couple of the other mentoring programs, the 4th and 5th grade, I guess, over at Gaithersburg Elementary, and right now I'm working with the 1st graders at South Lake. So that's kind of my history.
Carmen, we had lunch or dinner the other night in the bistro, and you shared with us a wonderful story about your experience in mentoring and one of the people that you met and really made an impact on your life. Could you tell us that story?
So, hi, I'm Carmen Mendoza. Nice to meet you all. So my story from being a mentee is my first time meeting Ms. Jen F. I feel like meeting her was a core memory engraved into my life due to all of the life skills I learned from her. And I learned that sometimes people are different from one another, but you just have to learn how to accept and understand them, and you have to learn the beauty of sometimes people just being different. Also, Ms. Jen F was such a wonderful person, and she has had a very remarkable impact on me, where I look at her in photos or remember any lovely memories with her, and I feel this feeling of happiness and talking to her felt like someone was there to actually see you be great. And we had no relationship of DNA, and that's what made it so beautiful, because there was people there who want to see you succeed. And I wish I could be able to see her again and thank her for everything she's done for me and all of the life skills I learned. And yeah, that's basically my story.
Good. Thank you.
So did everyone hear who that, I want to make sure that you heard the name. She's talking about Jan Forbes. So if you see Jan Forbes, let her know.
Carmen, how important has your relationship been with Carol? You've had a long relationship with her. Do you have something you could say about the work you've done with Carol in the mentoring?
So like how Ms. Carol said, the Carol's Corner, it was so wonderful because you had the opportunity to communicate your feelings and express yourself truly. And during the pandemic, it was very hard, like how she expressed. And just being able to talk to someone was so calming, because you would express how the schoolwork was going, and she was just there just to care. And it was so wonderful.
Thank you. Carol? Do you want me to introduce the other two?
So if you don't mind, let me say a little tiny bit about each of these kids, because they're all really special, and I want you to know a couple things about each of them. Yesley is here to my left, and Yesley is a high school junior who has already started her own business, by the way, making floral bouquets and things. In her free time, she likes to watch medical shows, cook and bake, and listen to music. Her favorite subject is math because she finds it fascinating. And her dream is to become, and these are her words, one of the 9.2% of Hispanic pediatricians in the US. She was also recently just inducted into the National Honor Society. So that's Yesley. David is on the end. David's a high school sophomore, very well-spoken young man and caring young man, who has been offered several opportunities to learn auto body repair technology, and he's thinking that over. In his free time, he likes to listen to music, watch nature videos, play games and sports, and watch fighting events. And his immediate goal is to get into a boxing gym. He liked wrestling in high school, and he thinks he'd like to try boxing as well. So that's David. And in the middle, we have Carmen. You've heard a little bit from Carmen. She's a high school freshman who's one of the kindest young people I know. She's the one who pulled my chair out when we went to dinner together and asked me how I was feeling after some surgery. In her free time, she loves basketball. Her favorite subject is history, and again, these are her words, because she feels that sometimes the truth gets covered up due to biased opinions. Her dream is to become a well-known and well-educated human being. Okay. David, can we go to you next? We'll pass you the microphone. David, talk to us about the benefits of GBCI mentoring and what impact it all had on your life.
Hi, my name is David. I believe that some benefits from this program is that young children, for us, we were at elementary school during the time, and growing up with the program, I feel like it helped us develop some very important social skills that would help us later on, even into high school right now, creating friendships, not just with people our age, but people that the mentors that were also participating and going to the program. And it was a skill that not a lot of people at our age at the time knew. And I feel like that really helped us, not just with the program, but also, you know, out in the community. And I couldn't thank them enough, because I was very shy, you know. I was hesitant about a lot of things. I wouldn't really want to go out. I would just want to stay home in my bed. But until then, I wanted to go out. But until COVID hit, and Ms. Carroll reached out to us and told us that we should continue to participate in the program at a local park. And with the Ms. Carroll's Corner, as she mentioned, it gave me a short period of time to really open up about how I was feeling, how things at home were going, school, things with my friends, excuse me. And it was just a very, very fascinating experience for me, and I couldn't thank Ms. Carroll enough for the things that she's done for me and my sisters.
And yes, Lee, if you don't mind, what benefits did you receive from GBCI, and what impact maybe did I have on your life?
Good evening. My experience as a mentee in this program was a very wonderful and beautiful experience. One of my, a very important benefit I was blessed with was the relationships I gained over the years. For example, with Ms. Carroll and with Ms. Janji, who is out here in the crowd. Another very good benefit, and I honestly find it very important to learn in life, because nowadays, staying away from bad habits or bad things is very important. And I learned that over the years, that it's very impactful, that being involved in those habits don't necessarily do you any good. And thankfully to Miss Kareen, Miss Michelle, Miss Janji, and Miss Carol, and many, many more, we were able to grow up around a very welcoming environment where we felt like we belonged, and an environment that made us feel like we weren't going to be judged, especially going through a hard time like COVID, and I'm sure all of you guys also can agree with that. And that's pretty much what I can say.
Thank you, honey. Thank you.
Carol, as a mentor and as a past teacher, could you share with us what you got out of mentoring? What were the benefits you found in the time that you've mentored with our programs?
Okay, if you don't mind, I'd like to introduce one more person, though, and that is the mother of these 3 children. I'm sure she doesn't want to stand up, but she's down here in the second row, and her name is Carmen, and there is no way you could have 3 children like these 3 without a mother who is dedicated and loving and really has their success at the heart of everything she does. So thank you, Carmen. We honor you. So when Spence asked me to think about the benefits that I've received from mentoring, there are so many. I decided for the sake of time that I would divide them into 3 categories, if you don't mind, and talk about each of those. So the first benefit involves just the feeling of belonging and social connectedness. So if you are a mentor, at least in my experience, I have a really exciting place to go every Wednesday afternoon. So I don't have to worry about it. It's there. I go and have a great time. I'm surrounded by young people who are always energetic, always want to be there, and are full of hugs and excitement in seeing the mentors every single week. I work with other mentors who quickly become new friends, and that was a great thing for me being in a new area. And we're friends due to our common goals and common cause, really, working with the young people. The friendships I've formed have developed into meaningful relationships because we're all planning together. We're talking and sharing stories. We're laughing, maybe singing, and then there are all the smiles and hugs. All of this matters so much in creating a good life. Finally, you realize you're part of a larger community. You meet people you might never, ever have met before. I kind of doubt that I would have met Carmen and her children if I hadn't been part of the program, and what I would have missed is, hard to even think about. You cross paths with people whose lives may be different from yours, and you'll gain new insights into what's happening in the community around you and the issues facing your neighbors. Maybe all of this will lead to a desire to make a difference in other ways as well.
Thank you. This is
Sorry,
what you've
2
done.
more categories.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. You can see we really rehearsed this.
This one you're going to like, brain and body health. We all care about brain and body health. When you're part of a mentoring program, you will get up and get moving. You might be exercising with the kids to get their wiggles out. You might be involved in a beanbag toss or water balloon basketball. You'll learn new skills. You'll be thinking outside of the box, solving problems in ways that you might not have imagined. Think about building a tall structure out of toothpicks and marshmallows, a structure that must stand on its own, and building that with the wise input of a 6-year-old. That's definitely thinking outside the box. You'll be called upon to share your wisdom and stories of your own life, recalling special moments and things that you think will be helpful for the young people to hear. You might be asked to work with your young people to solve mysteries. Our first grade students play a guessing game during which they have to ask yes or no questions to determine what's in a mystery bag. You'll be asked to predict story outcomes, to solve problems, or make lists of rhyming words. All of this will promote your own brain health. One more.
I won't interrupt you.
My final category is a feeling of satisfaction and purpose. No doubt that you're helping others when you're a mentor. You're being a listening ear, you're encouraging, you're cheering, you're advising, you're supporting. You're part of something that's bigger than you are, and you're making a difference in the lives of young people. And as is the case in many things in life, you may or may not see the full effect of your volunteer work right away. But tonight, I think, is a real testament to the fact that the good work and support of GBCI mentors is not forgotten and will go a long way in enriching the lives of the young people we touch. I'm going to end with one more short story. I have the advantage of not only being a mentor, but of having the opportunity to do some of the planning and executing of lessons during our sessions. So many times I get a bird's eye view of the mentors and students in action, and I see so many things that fill my heart. The student who tells her mentor that her scarf is pretty that day. The mentor and student who work together to practice shoelace tying. The student who offers to get a more stable chair for a mentor. The sharing and caring that go on every week. A couple of years ago, Reverend Malcolm Frazier, who I'm sure many of you know, was a mentor in our Gaithersburg Elementary School program. And that day we noticed that on the walls of the classroom there were posters and all kinds of things that referred to Martin Luther King Jr. and Black History Month. And somehow the conversation started about what life might have been like during that time. And Malcolm recounted stories of his own time in the 4th grade there at Gaithersburg Elementary School and what it was like for him as a black child. The students were spellbound. And they were spellbound because all of a sudden everything they had been hearing from their teacher came to life through him and through his eyes and his experience. So mentoring is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful program. I hope you can feel my passion and my desire to keep it going strong. And again, many thanks to these 3 wonderful students for being part of this tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll bring the next team up. How many in the audience have been part of mentoring. Wow, that's a lot. Yep, very good. If any of you want to come and share your stories, you can afterwards. That would be wonderful. Watch your head. Right here. Okay, our second group, Cesar Portocarrero and Aaron Romero, who Cesar has been close with for a number of years. Cesar, before introducing Aaron, could you tell a little bit about, why you came to Asbury, how long you've been here, and why you got involved in the mentoring program?
Why you came to Asbury? Oh my gosh,
Well, don't.
that's a long story. It's
You
a
can make it
good
short.
place. It's a great place. Yes, we came. George and I came to Asbury about a little over 9 years, almost 10 years actually, and we became quite involved almost immediately with the community as a whole. Of course, be living in the courtyards, that is the first group that we work with. But then, let me breathe a little. Then we went to, about the same time, we went to work with GBCI. I didn't know what mentoring was. I thought it was helping with the teaching of the students. And of course, that is part of the mentoring. But about that time, when I was trying to learn about mentoring, I asked one of our neighbors, what do I do? What's good to do to be a mentor? And he gave me a very deep, the words are very simple, but it was full of deep feelings. He just told me, just be a good grandpa. So I try to be that from the very beginning. At the time, we were assigned the children in the groups. So I worked at the elementary school, at the two elementary schools nearby. And at that time, we brought all the children to Asbury we would meet and had the program in Hefner Auditorium upstairs. And then we would go downstairs to have dinner. So we had a lot of fun, even in while eating. And there I discovered that Aaron loves the hamburgers, the Asbury hamburgers. And not only did he do that then, but when we met afterwards through the years, we met with him several times, Georgia and I, and we go to Hefner and we have a good hamburger. Except last Thursday, we meet to talk about this presentation, and I ordered my hamburger with mayonnaise and with mayonnaise, and what else did I order?
Your hamburger.
Hamburger, yes, okay. And my friend here ordered a sirloin steak. That's how Aaron is. He is straightforward, good, friendly manner. He's a good friend. So, I've told you those stories. Back then, too, the children would call us as Mr. or Mrs. Last name. Now they call us Cesar or June or Happy. It's a very different situation now, but we have fun. 3 hours ago, I was there at the Gettysburg Elementary School, so we were again happy to see the children there and spend time with them.
You're still mentoring. You're still doing it.
Of course, yeah, 3 hours ago. Yeah, I'm not teaching anything, just being with them. So let me introduce Aaron now. He was my first mentor almost 10 years ago. Aaron was, at that time, he was living about the same area, no, near us. So we wanted to, as we became friends, we wanted to bring him to some places, go visit other places. And his mother, Victoria, she's not here today. His mother was very careful about him and wanted to know us before he let Aaron with us to go any place with us. After we met, she told us, you can take him anytime you want. So I don't know whether it was confidence in us or wanted to get rid of you, but it
A little bit of both, maybe.
Okay, so so Aaron, let's see. I think I better give you then your presentation, your introduction. Tell us about ourselves, about yourself. I'm sorry.
So my name is Aaron, 18 years old, currently still in high school as a senior, and I work part-time at a fast food chain called Firehouse Subs. Now, I entered this GBCI program when I was in 3rd grade, so I was 8 years old. That was exactly 10 years ago from now. And since then, ever since I've met Cesar, life has just been amazing. If it wasn't for this program, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I used to be a really shy kid. I couldn't really speak to a lot of people, but being a part of it, meeting new friends, hanging with people of a different age group really gave me a new perspective and allowed me to open up more and explore different areas. And yeah, no, I've learned a lot since then. It's also when I learned I had a deep passion for photography after seeing Mr. Hale, who's in the crowd, take pictures all the time. I was always fascinated by how huge of a lens he had with him, and he was just taking pictures of the program. And then since then I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to be a photographer. And one of my favorite experiences in the program was just going on trips, like field trips to the National Air and Space Museum, the zoo, and the art gallery. Those were definitely one of my favorite experiences. And as I mentioned before, if it wasn't for the program and just being a part of this amazing community, I wouldn't be cultivated towards my next goals in life, which is to become an entrepreneur. And I'm going to continue by going to Towson University, and I recently got accepted. Thank you.
And he just told me that he is waiting for study scholarship at the University of Maryland. So he's still waiting for something.
Yeah, I submitted my application for University of Maryland. Still waiting to hear back. Once I hear back from them, I'll be fully committed.
So, Aaron, why do you want to be an entrepreneur? What got into your head on that? And
I guess it started when I saw my mom struggling to get by. She was a single mom. My father left when I was just 1 year old, so it was just me, her, and my older brother. And seeing that really tore me up inside as a little kid. And ever since then, I've just been wanting to assist her. And I told her that once I'm older, I promise you I will buy you your dream car. And I will buy us a house, and you won't ever have to worry about paying bills again. And what better way to do that than to become your own boss? And I feel like being an entrepreneur fits that description.
I think you're going to make it. You're a very exceptional man.
Yeah. I don't think I told you that Aaron Romero is his last name, lives with his father, with his mother, stepfather, and three brothers and sisters, yes. And he started working part-time when he started high school. Once he started working, he contributes to the family, to the home, with his money. And within all of that, between all of that, he had enough money to buy himself a car to go back and forth to work. Yes.
That's correct.
Thank you. He's a wonderful young man. We wish you all the luck in the world. So, Cesar and Aaron, thank you very much. And our third group is going to be run by Rebecca Cole, who is our executive director. And she has two little bit different group to interview. So,
Thank you. Yeah. Test these to see if they- All right, good evening, everyone. I'm really excited to introduce you to these incredible people as well. We're so grateful for the two other teams, and we are going to be talking a little bit about the Early Steps program, which is different from the mentoring. It's an early literacy program for children who are the ages of 0 to 5 and their parents, and you'll learn more about it. Tonight we have Pat Johnson and then Miriam Hernandez. Miriam serves as one of the parent facilitators of this program, and you'll also get to learn how that came about. So our questions were a little different, but we'll get right started. So give me 1 second. I'm just gonna... So Pat, you helped start the Early Steps program and have been one of the volunteer leads since its birth around 2017. What impact has the GBCI Early Steps program had for you?
Almost unable to communicate the depth of how it's changed my life. However, I would like to tell you a little bit, and I will read it from script. I was listening to the rhetoric that was happening with children who were black and brown and became very upset. At the same time, I learned that children from lower income families heard 3 million words, think of it, 3 million words less than children who are in affluent communities. To top it off, each time a child hears a word, there's brain development. And then, to top it off, by the time they start kindergarten, they are already behind. To me, that was a grave injustice, and I didn't think that it had to be that way. I have a poem, line from a poem which guided me in this process. And it says, when your star rises deep within, trust yourself to its leading. You will have the light for first steps. And that tells exactly my experience of starting Early Steps. I started Early Steps, and it was a dream. I wanted to address the needs of these children and their parents, particularly the early childhood literacy and development. Early Steps goals were to provide exposure to many interests and fields of study. Nature, art, you can name it. You go outside, you'll see all sorts of things that can be used to develop a child's interest in the world. They were to be presented in a fun way so that the children thought, oh, gee, learning is fun. They wouldn't necessarily put it into words because they're 3 months old, but they would experience it as fun and develop the attitude that would be helpful for them at school. I also wanted them to get a sense of, I can do. And I also wanted the mothers to have the sense that I can do. The program was designed just not for the children, but for the parents. And I wanted the moms, and there were moms at time when they came, to be able to find their own gifts, their own talents, their interests, and develop them and come away with a confidence that I am capable of helping my children be ready for school. We started at the library, and I have to give credit to Jan Forbes. Jan, I figure, is a co-creator with me with this program, and I don't believe it would have ever gotten off the ground without Jan. So thank you, Jan, if you're here. If not, I'll make sure you hear about it. We started meeting over at the library, and that was really fun. And then the next year, we started over at the library, and then we got another program so that we had 2 groups to meet in the springtime. We had that all set up, and the library said that they didn't have the room for us. So we had to come over to Hefner again and Wallace and find out if we could work there, which I was excited about because I believe this program can be done any place, anywhere. We went over there. Our first group was to be met into the community room at Wallace, and that was a really child-friendly room. The other one was in the room, what's the name of the room?
The Hefner Conference Room.
Hefner Conference. That's why I try to stay with my script. The Hefner Conference Room, which was definitely not child-friendly if you've been there. And both of those sessions were successful. We were really excited, and then COVID came. When COVID came, we decided, and Rebecca had come by then, and was able to speak Spanish, which was really a bonus for our program. We decided to go over to Cider Mill and find parent facilitators, one like Miriam, who's sitting next to me. And Adama helped us with that. We trained the facilitators, and I believe that we would not be able to come on the campus again because of COVID. Well, I was wrong. And so they came, and we started the program again in a new way. This time we had focuses for three levels: the children, the moms, and the parent facilitators. And that was really fun to negotiate all those 3 levels. And it went on from there, and it became very successful. When I saw these 5 women, I thought, they already have the concept of beloved community. And Miriam over here has so much talent. What it meant for me to start this program, it was a great learning experience, and I will still continue to learn as I ponder what it has meant in my life. First of all, it's really a wonderful experience to have a dream and then have it develop into a reality of a beloved community, and that's what it became. It's a wonderful place to come. Moms and children and everyone just benefit, and it's a joyful place. So that was a real learning experience. And as I worked with these moms and they became more capable and more ready to do their thing, I had a wonderful experience of knowing that if it really were to go on and be successful, my ideas had to stay in the background and theirs had to shine forth. And my job changed to supporting them as opposed to planning for everything. It was a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll move to Median. Median is going to answer the questions in Spanish, and I have the translation for us. So I'll be sharing after. She'll do her whole answer. It's not that long. And then I'll be sharing her answers in English after. So Median, this is your third year as an Early Steps program leader. What impact has GBCI and the Early Steps program had for you?
Personalmente ha cambiado mi vida por completo. Participar en el programa me ha ayudado a volver a prestar servicio a los demás. Me encanta todo el trabajo y el esfuerzo que hacemos por los demás. En mi país siempre fui activa en la comunidad. Aquí encontré lugares seguros en Sidermill y la invitación a trabajar en el programa Primeros Pasos. Fue una oportunidad para participar, para hacer cosas nuevas, para mí, mi familia y otras familias de la comunidad. Participar en Primeros Pasos arrojó luz sobre todo esto. Estoy aportando mis dones y también aprendo de los voluntarios y otros facilitadoras. Cuando me uní al programa para ser facilitadora, mi hijo de 3 años también participó en el programa. Era un bebé de la pandemia y no tuvo muchas oportunidades de socializar con otras personas fuera de nuestra familia inmediata. Una vez comenzó el programa Primeros Pasos, vi mejoras increíbles en su crecimiento. Aprendió a socializar, podía interactuar con otros niños y aprendió a estar en el aula antes de ir a preescolar y al jardín de infantes formales. Cuando empezó en Primeros Pasos, no hablaba mucho. Después de estar en ese entorno, vi que tenía un vocabulario más amplio y hablaba más. Al final del semestre de primavera, se comunicaba en casa y en el programa con otros estudiantes y voluntarios. Fue increíble ver su crecimiento. Atribuyo su aprendizaje y desarrollo al programa de Primeros Pasos.
Personally, it has completely changed my life. Participating in the program has helped me return to serving others. I love all the work and effort we put in for others. Back home, I was always active in the community, in her country, she said. Here, I discovered safe places at Sidermill and was invited to work in the Early Steps program. It was an opportunity to participate, to do new things for myself, my family, and other families in the community. Participating in Early Steps shed light on all of this. I'm contributing my gifts and also learning from the volunteers and other facilitators. When I joined the program to be a facilitator, my 3-year-old son also participated in the program. He was a pandemic baby and didn't have many opportunities to socialize with others outside of our immediate family. Once he started in the Early Steps program, I saw incredible improvements in his growth. He learned to socialize. He was able to interact with other children and learned how to be in a classroom before going to formal preschool and kindergarten. When he started in Early Steps, he didn't talk much. After being in this environment, I saw that he had a broader vocabulary and was more vocal. By the end of the spring semester, he was communicating at home and in the program with other students and volunteers. It was incredible to see this growth. I attribute his learning and development to the Early Steps program. Okay. So our next question, we'll start with Pat, and then Median has an answer too. Pat, how has your relationship with the program leaders and Median shaped you?
This I will read. Whoops. Yeah. This I will read. The most important part of my experience has been the relationships I've developed with these wonderful people. I've truly loved and respect these women. They have become a vital part of my life, and they bring me much joy. And their support, passion, and energy has been very transformative. In working with Miriam and the other women, I've learned so much about leadership. I truly began to see everyone as gift, because they were. Each of these women brought their own unique perspectives and strengths to the Early Steps program. I saw my role was to help identify their strengths, encourage them to use and develop them in the program. And I wanted them to know that they were really very, very valuable. Through the experience, I've learned the importance of collaboration, flexibility, and the importance of embracing the passion of others. It's a beautiful reminder that leadership is about creating space for others to grow, and in doing so, we all grow together into a beloved community.
Thank you. And Median, how has your relationship with Pat shaped and formed you?
Me ha ayudado a ser más fuerte, a tener confianza en mí misma, a ver la vida de otra manera. Después de trabajar muy de cerca con los 5 facilitadores, PA creó una serie especial de conversaciones para nuestro tiempo de conversación de padres en la clase. En una sesión compartió una cita sobre el miedo. No tienes nada que temer excepto al miedo mismo. La conversación de ese día me hizo pensar en el miedo, mi miedo. En ese momento, el miedo más grande de mi vida era aprender a manejar. La primera vez que hice el examen, lo reprobé. Esa semana tenía una cita para hacer el examen por segunda vez. El lunes, Pa tocó el tema del miedo. Así que cuando iba a hacer el examen más tarde en la semana, sus frases vinieron a mi mente. Yo era más fuerte que mi miedo. Era mi miedo y podía superarlo, y lo hice. Repetía la misma frase en mi mente durante mi examen de manejo. Recuerdo que dije, es una práctica, no tienes miedo, eres más fuerte que el miedo, y pasé el examen. Me di cuenta que mi mente se había bloqueado pensando que no podría obtener mi licencia y que nunca podría aprender a manejar. La sesión de paz sobre el miedo cambió mi enfoque mental para poder lograr las cosas que temía. Esta fue una transformación muy importante para mí y ahora estoy conduciendo.
So Miriam said, it has helped me become stronger, gain self-confidence, and see life differently. After working closely with the 5 facilitators, Pat created a special series of conversations for our parent conversation time in class. In one of the sessions, she shared a quote about fear. You have nothing to fear except fear itself. That day's conversation made me think about fear, my fear. At that moment, the biggest fear of my life was learning how to drive. The first time I took the test, I failed. That week, I had an appointment to take the test for a second time. On Monday, Pat touched on the topic of fear. So when I was about to take the test later that week, her quotes came to my mind. I was stronger than my fear. It was my fear, and I could overcome it. And I did. I repeated the same phrase in my mind during my driving test. It's practice. You have no fear. You are stronger than fear. And I passed the test. I realized that my mind had become blocked by the thought that I wouldn't be able to get my license or learn to drive. Pat's session on fear shifted my mental focus so I could accomplish the things I feared. This was a huge transformation for me. And now I'm driving. So the last question we have for Pat and Median is Pat. What have you learned from the program leaders and from Median?
Well, I designed that program because I wanted us to so understand and develop ourselves to be guided by the tenets of beloved community. And I figured out how can we get this so that it's something that becomes really ours. As you heard Miriam talk, you can see that the program that I designed did work. And that is a really great confidence builder. The other one that we discovered by working with this type of program of sharing concepts and our thoughts of what the concept means, I listened to Miriam's story and went home and reflected on how had fear impacted my life. We all can do that. And when I discovered how it impacted on my life, I was able to remember Miriam's words, which, if I believe I got it right, was, if I have the fear, I own it, and it's mine, and I can control it. And I tried that, and it does work. So that was an example of how early steps and beloved community works. It's an integration. One person says one thing and grows, and then another hears it and grows. Now, when I come to Miriam, this woman is phenomenal. When I saw her come and start teaching, start learning, and start using the skills that she has, I was so delighted with how this is a natural skill for her. She is gifted in this area, and I so hope she continues. She was an inspiration to me in many, many ways. I will read. Her passion, talent, and creativity became apparent to me, and it has been a delight, one of the greatest delights of my life, to watch her growth and her confidence blossom. She is fantastic. It gives me great joy to know I have enabled her in this program to become the woman that she really has been designed to be. Finally, Miriam, it's you and who you are that has been so life-giving for me and brings me much, much joy, and I will remember that for the rest of my days. Thank you so much. Gracias.
Thank you, Pat. And then for Median, what have you learned from your relationship with Pat?
He aprendido muchísimo de Pa. Una de las cosas más importantes es que a pesar del idioma no hay ningún impedimento para que ella me haga sentir que lo que hago vale la pena. Cuando escribo esto, y ahorita que se los digo, me llena de sentimiento y me da mucha nostalgia de saber que ella siempre tiene un abrazo para todos. A pesar de las dificultades de su vida y de la barrera del idioma que hay entre nosotras, ella siempre está ahí para los demás. Cada vez que la veo, tiene una palabra para mí. Me dice que soy maravillosa, que me ama. Cada vez le da otro significado a mi día. Es una experiencia increíble tener a alguien que ve lo valiente y fuerte que soy, que me ayuda y me motiva a dar lo mejor de mí cada día. En el programa, saber que Pa deja una huella especial para cada una de las personas que la conocen, me enseña que yo puedo hacerlo por los demás. Un día estaba en el hospital para ver un bebé recién nacido en nuestra familia. Cuando estacioné y me dirigí al hospital, vi a Pa en una silla de ruedas saliendo del hospital. Estaba allí para recibir un tratamiento y aunque estaba un poco triste por el tratamiento, me abrazó con su sonrisa y un gran abrazo. Acababa de salir de un tratamiento muy serio, sabía que estaba pasando por mucho con su salud y aún así tenía la fuerza para saludarme de esa manera con tanto entusiasmo y amor, diciéndome que me amaba. Una parte muy especial en mi relación con Pa es que siempre encuentra la manera de animarme, sin importar lo que esté pasando. Ese día en el hospital me demostró una vez más lo fuerte que es Pa. Su fortaleza me inspira a ser más fuerte y animar a los demás cuando atraviesan momentos difíciles. Esto es una parte cómo podemos vivir en una comunidad amada.
Okay, so Miriam shared, I have learned so much from Pat. One of the most important things is that despite the language barrier, she never stops me from feeling like what I do is worthwhile. As I write this, I'm filled with nostalgia, knowing that she always has a hug for everyone. Despite the various difficulties in her life and the language barrier between us, she's always there for others. Every time I see her, she has a word for me. She tells me that I'm wonderful. She tells me that she loves me. Each time, she gives my day a whole new meaning. It's an incredible experience to have someone who sees how brave and strong I am, who helps me and motivates me to do my best every day. And on the, it says on the, okay. And knowing that Pat leaves a special mark on each person who meets her. She's taught me that I can do that for others. One day, I was at the hospital to see a newborn baby in our family. As I parked and headed into the hospital, I saw Pat in a wheelchair leaving the hospital. She was there for treatment. Although she was a little sad about the treatment, she embraced me with her smile and a big hug. She had just come out of this very serious appointment. She knew she was going through a lot with, even though she was going through a lot with her health, she still had the strength to greet me that way with so much enthusiasm and love, and she still told me she loved me. A very special part of my relationship with Pat is that she always finds a way to cheer me up, no matter what I am going through and no matter what she is going through. That day at the hospital showed me once again how strong Pat is. Her strength inspires me to be strong and to encourage others when they are going through difficult times. This is part of how we can live in a beloved community. We are at time. So some of our panelists will be here after, but we do have to finish. So I just want to thank all of you for being here today. It's so incredible, this process of being able to lift up some of these stories that have been through the relationships that have really grown over so many years. And I just want to thank Spence for really helping lead this program and plan it and put it together. I want to thank Carol and Yesley and David and Carmen, the mother of these children, and also Cesar and Aaron and Miriam and Pat. We had a lot of meetings to prepare. They were writing their reflections, and it just took a lot of their stories and energy and a lot of emotions, and it's been such a beautiful experience. So thank you all so much. We know how hard you've worked, and we just want to thank all of you for being here tonight.
Thank you all, and thank Gaithersburg beloved community, all the mentors and the mentees, thank you for being here this evening. Just one brief word about next Monday. The speaker next Monday will be John Shao. The topic is Advances in Diagnosis of Alzheimer's Disease. Dr. Shao will describe a new blood test that can improve diagnosis and accuracy and accessibility. The event was arranged by James Bailey, a resident, and will be hosted by Frank Snyder. Monday, 7:30, right here, and I have donation envelopes if anybody needs one. Thank you all.